It's the summer of 1996. The air in Brooklyn is thick with heat and the sound of the city. In a small apartment, a 13-year-old girl named Richezza Williams looks in a mirror. But she doesn't see a child. She sees a survivor. To escape a life she couldn't bear, she crafts a new identity. She becomes Buffy Matron Smith, a 19-year-old with a fake ID and a fierce, desperate independence. She manages to rent an apartment not in New York, but across the state line in the old industrial town of Easton, Pennsylvania. It's a fresh start, or so she thinks. But the streets she believed would free her were about to become her prison. This is not just the story of a crime. It's a story of a life stolen, a ghost that haunts a community, and one man who vanished into the ether, leaving behind a trail of questions that remains cold to this day. This is the story of Richezza Williams and the hunt for Stanley Wildman Obis. Easton, Pennsylvania, in 1996, was a town with a split personality. On the surface, it was a quiet, historic community. But beneath that veneer festered a dark underbelly of drugs and violence. It was into this underworld that Buffy Smith, the creation of young Richezza, was drawn. She became entangled with a ruthless local gang known as the Cash Money Boys. Among its members were Corey Mayweather and Kwame Henry. And then there was Stanley Obis, known on the street by a single chilling moniker, Wildman. He was older, more seasoned, and by some accounts, Richezza's boyfriend. For a brief moment, perhaps, this dangerous world felt like a form of protection to a lonely girl. But that illusion was about to be shattered in the most brutal way imaginable. The catalyst was a common, deadly sin in the drug trade, a missing package. The gang accused Richezza of stealing $2,000 worth of their drugs, a fortune in their world. In their eyes, this transgression couldn't go unpunished. It was a debt that could only be paid in pain. They took her to a place of nightmares, a decrepit, yellow brick flophouse at 719 Bushkill Street. In the damp, dark basement of this house, they held her captive. What happened next over the course of several days in late July 1996 is a catalog of human cruelty that is almost impossible to comprehend. This was not a quick act of violence. It was a prolonged, sadistic ritual. The testimonies from the trials of his accomplices paint a horrifying picture. The three men, with Stanley Obis as a central participant, tortured the 13-year-old girl using items you might find in any kitchen or utility drawer, twisted into instruments of agony. A coat hanger, heated in a flame until it glowed. A corkscrew, used to inflict penetrating wounds. Kitchen chemicals, likely bleach or cleaning agents, used to burn her skin. And most chillingly, a turkey baster used to assault her internally. The sounds of this horror did not stay confined to the basement. Upstairs, another woman, Kathleen Segusti, was being held against her will. She later told police in a courtroom that she could hear Richezza's desperate, fading pleas. She heard the girl begging for her life, her voice growing weaker and weaker, until finally there was only silence. Richezza Williams, the girl who called herself Buffy, was dead. Now before we continue, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more crime videos. Now let's get back to it. But for her killers, the disposal of the body was just the next logistical problem. On August 10th, 1996, a search party acting on a tip made a grisly discovery. Tucked away in a stone vault at the base of the historic Easton Cemetery, they found Richezza's body. It was in an advanced state of decomposition, left to rot in the summer heat, discarded like trash. The case seemed cold from the start. A Jane Doe, a runaway, tangled up with dangerous men. It was a recipe for an unsolved mystery. But then, fate, or perhaps sheer arrogance, intervened. Just days after Richezza was killed, Corey Mayweather attacked Kathleen Segusti in a similar, though non-lethal, assault. This brought Mayweather directly to the attention of the Easton police. And Segusti, now a victim herself and fearing for her life, decided to talk. She became the star witness, connecting Mayweather, Henry, and Obis directly to the torture and murder in the Bushkill Street basement. But the police needed physical evidence, and they got it from the most unlikely of places. At the stone vault where Richezza's body was found, a crime scene investigator sharp, I spotted a piece of discarded chewing gum. It seemed insignificant, but it was collected as evidence. This piece of gum became the smoking gun. It was sent to a forensic odontologist, a dental expert. The bite marks pressed into the gum were compared to the dental records of the suspects. It was a perfect, damning match for Corey Mayweather. He had been at the dump site. He had stood over Richezza's body and casually chewed gum. It was a moment of casual arrogance that would seal his fate. With Segusti's testimony and the forensic miracle of the chewing gum, the case swiftly moved to justice. Corey Mayweather, seeing the writing on the wall, pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Kwame Henry fled, but was tracked down at Trinidad in 1998, extradited, tried, and convicted. He too received life without parole. 2 down, but 1 remained. Stanley Obis had vanished. He had simply melted away into the shadows. He became a ghost. The FBI added him to their most wanted list. His face appeared on television screens across America, on shows like America's Most Wanted. The hunt was on. Tips flooded in. He was spotted in New York City, blending into the crowds. He was seen in Arkansas, in Canada, and rumors persistently placed him back in his native Haiti. But every lead, every supposed sighting led to a dead end. The man known as Wild Man was living up to his name, surviving in the wild, unseen. As the years turned into decades, the case grew colder. The one person who could look a jury in the eye and point to Stanley Obis as the murderer, Kathleen Segusti, died of a drug overdose. Her voice was silenced forever, taking a crucial piece of the prosecution's case with her. So, what happened to Stanley Obis? Did he manage to build a new life under a new name in some far-off country? Did he disappear into the anonymous sprawl of a major city? Or, as some law enforcement officials like former District Attorney John Morganelli have speculated, did he meet with street justice? Was the wild man ultimately hunted down by those seeking retribution for his actions, his body disposed of in an unmarked grave, forever lost to history? The FBI file remains open. He is still a wanted fugitive, wanted for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution and murder. The photo of his young face is still in their database, a digital ghost waiting to be identified. The story of Richezza Williams is a tragedy that echoes through time. It's a stark reminder of the vulnerable lives that slip through the cracks. And the story of Stanley Obis is the chilling coda, a mystery wrapped in a nightmare. He is out there, or he is not. And until a definitive answer is found, the shadow of the wild man will continue to linger.